You know what I'm saying? You put Jarvis
Okay.
Landry.
All right, we live, brother. Welcome to the TD Report. I'm Tony Kennedy.
I'm Jody Coleman.
All right, my man Jody, hey, he's coming to us from Dayton, Ohio.
No doubt.
That's
No
my
doubt.
brother. My brother, we're gonna be doing the draft at the end of next month. You won't need to catch us. We're gonna be in Vegas. Um, hey, Jody, bring us up to date, baby. What's
Hey,
going on in the NFL?
man, the NFL has been wild over the past about 4 or 5 days. Of course, we know Tom Brady is back. Tom Brady is officially back as a Tampa Bay quarterback, so that changed the whole landscape of football as we know it, especially in the NFC. Especially in the NFC. Because not only did Tom Brady come back, but now you have Carlton Davis resign. You're gonna have Leonard Fournette about to resign. You know Rob Gronkowski is gonna come back. They franchise tag Chris Godwin. So they bringing the band back, man. They gonna compete for another title.
Uh, do you actually think that team can play against Green Bay?
Yeah, they beat them before. I think Green Bay they just lost Zadarius Smith. They just cut him today, so that was huge. You know, they still Devontae Adams said that he's not playing under the franchise tag, so they're gonna have to find money for him.
Hmm.
And if he doesn't play, Aaron Rodgers, because even though we know that Aaron Rodgers is supposed to have a 4 year, $200 million deal, he's still denying it. It hasn't been official. It hasn't been official that that deal is actually inked.
They need to stop this, man.
But
They
they
need
did.
to.
They did sign Campbell back, the All Pro middle linebacker. They signed him back to a 5 year deal. Where are they getting this money from? I could have swore they was over the cap.
Well, they're gonna have to get creative in the next 72 hours, 48 hours. So they're gonna have to get kind of creative. I mean, these guys, folks, so you understand, these NFL. This is the most busiest. This is the busiest time of year for them. They're working like he just said. Jody just said they where they get the money from. Well, where they getting the money from? They calling people. They got to cut people. They got to do this. They got to do that. You got to agree. The capologist is not getting any rest. They probably got 4 or 5 capologists that are just probably working through those numbers, through the books with the player personnel and opening up and all this before they even get to the draft. And they
But
still got to leave some for the draft pool.
we talking about 43 million over the cap. That's not nothing to sneeze at. 43 million? That's a lot of creative mathematics about to happen.
Well, 43 million, I guess if you cut and they got to add the best receiver in the game. They got to work his contract out because they can't afford for Adams to say, no, I'm not playing because if Adams don't play, now your boy, maybe that's why your boy say he ain't signed his contract yet. They waiting for Adams to get his deal.
Right. Hold on, you said the best. I didn't know they had Cooper Cup on their team.
You need to stop that. You need to stop that.
But
You need
no,
to stop that.
it don't.
No,
It's
you
not
got to
even.
jump.
It's not even. We just the tip of the iceberg. We already know about Russell Wilson going to Denver. And what did we say? Matter of fact, I think it was on the show when we said it. Deshaun Watson is not facing any criminal charges.
Zero.
Zero
So
criminal charges.
I I kind of feel Deshaun Watson is going to end up in Carolina. I think because of you can say what you want to say, criminal, civil, 20 something women, you're going to need some support. And it seemed like the support that he had was from that Carolina to northern Georgia area where he lives, where he's
Yeah.
from. And it
Hmm.
seemed like those people would be the first to just forgive him and just get this out the way. Because going and putting yourself, isolating yourself in another city without any family, without any friends, I mean, that's gonna be hard on a 26-year-old. The last year or so of his life has probably been hell for him. Remember, guys, he's 26 years old, and
And
this kind of stuff is crazy.
he maintains his innocence the whole time. He said that he was not guilty, that he didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, the courts proved him and cleared him. So
Even if
maybe
you're innocent, which is even worse, the stuff that you have to take. to be mentally strong to have to go through this, to go out and worry about people saying stuff to you, or if somebody say the wrong thing to you. In the Carolinas, he played at Clemson. That's why they call it the Carolina Panthers. It's for North Carolina, South Carolina.
That's correct.
Their facility, they building a brand new $40 million facility, and that's on the South Carolina side, right down the street from where he played college, almost right where he lived. I think sometimes you have to go home to get that home cooking. You know about LeBron. He had to come back home. So,
I definitely agree with that.
What did somebody say? What did he say? It was what? I wanted to read this comment. Lazard. Oh, he's talking about Lazard, the Packers receiver. Man, listen, Shane, Aaron Rodgers don't trust nobody but number 17. In that San Francisco game, who did he target? 17 all day.
And that was actually the problem. He do need somebody else he can trust. If Randall Cobb was banged up in that game, I think Randall Cobb would have been healthy. I think he would have went to him. He trusts him a little bit as well.
I mean, from years and years and years. But, looking at all this stuff with free agents, I'm seeing the teams who are losing. One is the Washington football team, the Commanders. They let the fourth best guard go. Mm-hmm. They got one of the worst quarterbacks, injury prone, and then he blew up the cap. I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, with the Commanders right now, I don't know what was the significance of them getting Carson Wentz, because you got to think, if Carson Wentz was released or traded by the Indianapolis Colts, how bad was he in the locker room when they don't even have a replacement for him? That's how bad he was. That's how bad they wanted to get rid of him. So you're going to take him and put him in a toxic locker room as it is because of your ownership, all the things, the turmoil going on with that franchise, and you're going to bring another toxic person into your as your leader. I'm not sure what the Commanders are doing right now, to be honest with
you. Yeah, it baffles me. Now, I will say, Cowboys are finally doing football stuff. They finally getting rid of players right when they should get rid of them. Had this been the Cowboys 5 years ago, we would still have Smith. We would still have Cooper. We would have all kinds of things. I just saw they signed DeMarcus Lawrence. So they're keeping their core pieces together while signing and creating cap space. This morning, they were $20 million under the cap. If you notice that,
they just let Cedric Wilson go. He's with the Miami Dolphins. He's had a 3-year, $22 million deal down in Miami. Like I said, I think they're gonna make a push for Bobby Wagner. I really think that's who is on their radar right now. Defensively, he makes actually. If you can get Bobby Wagner, you can let Van Der Esch go, and you really have you could put almost anybody beside Bobby Wagner, and y'all gonna have a dominant defense. So, but Randy Gregory won't be back. He won't be a Cowboy. I really think that Tyron Smith, that's a person that's really long in the tooth, injury prone. Mm-hmm. And you can save a lot of money against the cap if you can make a deal to get rid of him. Zach Martin already restructured his deal. Dak Prescott restructured his deal to get some guys in there. So they signed Michael Gallup, 5 years, $65 million. I think that was a solid move because he's younger. Him and CeeDee Lamb together, and they could probably in the 3rd or 4th round get another young guy at wide receiver, and that he can complement those two guys. So I think Cowboys in the whole, man, you're right. I think they're finally starting to do stuff that real NFL franchises do by letting guys go and quit thinking just because you was a Pro Bowler 3 years ago that you're going to be a Pro Bowler this year.
Mm-hmm. And that's the mark of a good franchise.
I hate to say it. And that's the beginning because we already know that the Dallas Cowboy organization is worth more than any franchise in all the sports. Maybe the Lakers may be competing with them. But other than that, we know is Dallas.
They're number one in the world.
Okay. So they're number one in the world. So we know you can make money, Jerry Jones. Now, I think y'all need to put a product out there I understand what y'all went 12-5 last year. Or was it 13-4? 12-5. So y'all went 12-5. But guess what? Y'all got bounced at home by the 49ers. Y'all, like Dak Prescott at this point, making the amount of money that he's making, he has to be able to get At least in the NFC Championship game this year.
Well, I remember this is Dak's first year really making money.
True.
That franchise thing, his first year. He not like your boy,
Kirk Cousins.
Jesse James Cousins. Fully guaranteed. Let me give y'all a stat. Kirk Cousins has made more in football than Michael Jordan made in basketball.
And that's amazing. He just signed the extension for $35 million guaranteed after signing the 3-year, $84 million deal. This he got. Look, hold on, Tony. This kind of upset me. He has one playoff win. He's made over $130 million, and he has one playoff win, and that was questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it was a push off.
Lamar Jackson, go find Kirk Cousins' agent and use him to get your deal, because whoever Kirk Cousins' agent is, he's going to go down in the Agent Hall of Fame.
I mean, really.
I don't know. Listen, he got Washington and he got Minnesota. Both of those franchises. We paid all that money for one playoff win.
One playoff win. Come on, man. And you can't say that Minnesota don't have weapons. You have arguably the best receiving duo in the league. You got Adam Thielen and you got Justin Jefferson. You got one of the best running backs. You got a top 5 running back. You got a top 10 offensive line. You know, defensively, they're not that bad. I mean, they got a couple guys on that defense.
Well, they couldn't do anything when Kirk got all the money.
Right.
They need to go in Kirk's bank and go get some of the money to go help those guys out. That is Minnesota. You just gave the division back to Green Bay again.
I think
that's what you did.
Minnesota may fall behind the Bears. I mean, because if Justin Fields can get anything going, get any traction, man, the Bears can make a move. But speaking of the Bears, I'm not sure exactly what they were doing when they dealt Khalil Mack to the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm not sure. They got a second and I believe a 3rd round pick. But the rumor out the Midwest, out of Cleveland, is Cleveland offered their first pick, the 13th pick overall, in a 4th rounder, and they said no just a week ago. And then this week they go ahead and trade him for a 2nd and 3rd round. So I'm not sure what the Bears, why they didn't take that deal. I'm not sure why they didn't take the deal with Cleveland. But I mean, whatever. I mean, that would have been great for us. But yeah, he went to the Chargers, and not only did the Chargers get Khalil Mack, they already got Joey Bosa and Derwin James. Now they got J.C. Jackson, a shutdown ball hawking corner.
So they may be remember, Arizona's not that far from Los Angeles. So the Super Bowl is going to be out west for the next 2 more years. Some of those Western teams, I think, are going to be there in that Super Bowl. Right now, my favorite to actually win it would be the Chargers. With that move, J.C. Jackson, come on.
All right, fellas. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay.
What's going on? We got time.
We talking free agent.
It's Jody Coleman's favorite time of the year.
It's my favorite time.
It's legal tampering day.
What's up, Cody? How you feeling, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good.
Y'all been touching on all the free agent signings?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Man,
J.C.
Tony
Jackson,
just been talking about Dallas. Tony just been talking about Dallas.
I got them all right here, and I mean, it's been a live day for just the first day.
Hey, I tell you what, I talked about Dallas for a little bit because I'm actually, y'all know how critical I am of them. I'm actually pretty proud of them because they are actually doing football stuff. And when you start doing football stuff, they will be dangerous. They just got to keep doing football stuff and not fan stuff.
Can I ask you one question about Dallas and make kind of a statement? And I want to bring all of you guys in on this. Jody, I don't know if you watched the show, but when Tampa Bay and Dallas was the opener of last season, right? And then La'el Collins goes out with the drug suspension. Okay. Mm-hmm. La'el Collins has been in the league for 7 years. 7. He's taken drug tests before. For him to skip 7 drug tests as an NFL veteran and then try to bribe a tester, the collector, and then expect to be back with Dallas. So you look at Dallas's record this year. They were 12-5. Is that right, Tony?
Talent speaks, though, Dave. I mean, you look at
What's
guys
that?
like AB. So talent speaks. I mean, you look at guys like AB, and I mean, these people still get that money and get them contracts, especially when they're young guys and mess up like that. He's still good.
You can look at that. You can look at that, Cody. But Dallas is like a patchwork. They've got 5 or 6 guys that cause trouble, that do stupid stuff. So it's one thing if you say, okay, I've got one problem child, okay? But if you've got 10 children in your house and 5 of them are a problem, you ain't running no household. You're running an insane asylum. That's what it is. So
And
my
that goes
issue
back on
with
the coaching.
and listen, I would say this. We say
Also
a lot about
management.
Jerry Jones throwing good money after bad and so on and so forth. What Jerry Jones did for Randy Gregory, and you know it was a talent thing, he could have cut Randy Gregory 5 years ago, at least. And that would be after what? His 2nd or 3rd drug suspension? I believe, as I recall, I think he's been suspended for drugs 4 times.
He shouldn't even have got drafted, honestly, because remember he had drug problems in Nebraska. But you know,
Thank you. So
That talent speaks.
why
You're
would
right, 'cause
Randy Gregory? Why would Randy Gregory, after the loyalty that Dallas has shown for him, because Dallas could have cut him years and years ago, right?
Yes.
Because they weren't getting anything productive on the field from him, right? Thanks, James. I agree with you sometimes. Dallas does suck. So
That's a good one. I had to push
My
that one up
question-
there for sure.
I know that's a good one. My question has always been with this, Tony. Is Jerry ready to start being a football guy and not a marketing guy?
It's not Jerry.
No.
It's Will McClay.
It's Will McClay.
Listen, man. What y'all had to understand is, if this was Jerry, we would have had 54 would still be there, Smith. We would have all these people still there, still in the check, doing the stupid things that they've been doing for years. This is not Jerry. Now, Jerry will come in and say, oh, it's him, but he knows that 25 years he's been messing up.
Well, let's hope, for Dallas's sake, these are making the right moves. Now, let's change topics just a little bit. Did you guys talk about what Washington did today?
I'd really like to know if you talked about Jacksonville too, because Washington hasn't done much of anything.
They picked up a backup
and
center.
we touched on Jacksonville. I think
They're playing Madden, man.
They looking like they really like. Tony had mentioned this a couple days ago that they can potentially be like the Cincinnati Bengals of this season in year 2 of Trevor Lawrence.
They went all in, man, and I mean all in. You look at they got Brandon Sheriff to boost to the line, Christian Kirk, which that signing doesn't make any sense to me. They paid the man $72 million over 4 years, and he's never had a 1,000-yard season in his career. The guy has 2,900 yards and 17 touchdowns over 4
I've got more.
seasons, and they gave him $72 million. But hey, they got another wide receiver. They also got themselves a linebacker to fill some of them gaps.
Why would you go get that dude Kirk, and you could have got Landry?
But Landry just got cut. I think you can get Landry for cheap. I think right now you can get
Landry's coming off.
Yeah,
Landry's coming off of injury. Landry's coming off of injury, Tony.
They also got a D tackle. They also broke the bank and gave Evan Ingram, tight end out of New York, $9 million guaranteed.
That's too much money.
I mean,
I don't think
it is
so.
too
I'm
much,
gonna
but
go against
they're making moves. I think that's too much, man. $9 million for that guy.
For Evan Ingram on a 1-year deal, that's too much money.
But think about this, Cody.
Very
Okay, you got a guy that had a lot of potential coming out of Ole Miss. He had a ton of
Oh, he's
potential
great.
coming
Don't
out
get me
of Ole
wrong.
Miss.
Yeah.
I was a big
fan.
Trevor Lawrence had a season where this is really going to be Trevor Lawrence rookie season because being under Urban Myers didn't help him at all. But you look at what they could potentially have. They re-signed Cam Robertson. They just went and got Brandon Sheriff. They're going to probably get Evan Neal. So that offensive line is solidified. But let's put this out there. ETN didn't play one down last year.
Yep.
Travis Etienne
Brandon Sheriff will help. Yeah.
He played one.
in the preseason, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't play regular season.
Yeah, when he blew his knee out.
Yeah,
When he blew his knee on.
So he comes back and we know he's explosive. He has a lot of very familiar with Trevor Lawrence. Hey man, you got Marvin Jones on the
He's
outside.
good too, man. He's real good.
I think their defense didn't play that bad last year either with Josh Allen.
Nope.
And the other
They
Josh
were in
Allen.
some games. They won a couple. So, it's Jody, you made a great point earlier. And thanks to everyone for joining us on the TD Report on this Legal Tampering Day edition.
Xavier Woods,
Jody,
Carolina was big too.
Oh, yeah.
That was the other thing. Is now as legal tampering, kind of tapers off a little bit. The guys that were going to get their deal got their deal, right? The deal I want to talk about real quick before we move on to another topic is Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk. Yes.
I told you that guy is.
It's a 4-year, $72 million deal, which could be worth as much as $84 million, which tells me
he's got a $10 million incentive for snap counts if he plays a certain amount of snaps, which he will in Jacksonville. So he's getting that 84.
Which tells
or
me
82.
That it could be worth 82, but that tells me there's a poison pill in there, probably around year 2 or year 3. Where there might be
to call the authorities down there.
There might be there's a low cap number in there somewhere. So that's a lot of money for that guy. That's all I'm saying.
The kid has 29. He has 2,900 yards and 17 touchdowns over 4 seasons, and has never had a 1,000-yard receiving year, and just got to be the third highest paid wide receiver in the league.
And this is crazy. He's got 2 seasons as a pro where he caught under 45 balls and still has 2,900 yards.
This is what Dave. This is what I'm gonna say about Kirk, Christian Kirk. I understand what you're saying, Cody, in the numbers, but it was a guy named Keenan McCardell that played for Jacksonville. He played for the Browns at first, and he did not do well his first few years with the Browns. He goes to Jacksonville as one of their all-time leading receivers. If you look him up in the history, and I understand that you said he getting a lot of money.
Kirk's gonna do that?
But when you put him with Keenan, come on, man, stop this now.
Listen, hold on, hear me out. Jimmy Smith, he was on the other side, Jimmy Smith. But look at him in Arizona. They had so many different weapons in Arizona. You had Zach Ertz, who had 91 catches. You had DeAndre Hopkins. You had AJ Green.
Well, he was there for 3 years before both of those guys got there.
Right, but he was there with DeAndre Hopkins there. So
and he had his best year with DeAndre Hopkins there.
Right.
Well, Hop was hurt.
Larry Fitzgerald was there as well. So he was never the number one target as well. So he will be the number one target in Jacksonville. That's my argument. I'm trying to give him I'm trying to be on the
I hear you, Jody. I hear you. But man, I don't see him faring well as a number one target. I don't.
We all saw that number. We all saw that number.
Hey,
and Cody's ears went up. Cody's ears went like this.
I said what? Well, I'll tell you who's really, really happy about that 4-year, $84 million deal. Terry McLaurin. Him and his agents got to be jumping to the damn ceiling right now.
Oh yeah.
Well,
he's not happy.
It doesn't make Washington happy because that sets the market.
Oh yeah.
They gotta go pay.
They're gonna pay him $100 easy.
Now Terry McLaurin is looking at he's looking at the Cooper. He's looking at the Amari Cooper 5-year, $100 million deal. That's what he's looking at.
He had back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons, and a guy who hasn't had one his entire 4 years just got 84. Come on,
and he's better. So and I'll say this: look, Washington Sports Radio says Terry McLaurin to make their teeth white. They literally say that man's name 1,000 times a day. It's to the point where I'm starting to dislike the guy. It's not his fault. It's just. It's like Black History Month. Hey, who was on the bus that got put off the bus? It's like Rosa Parks. Is it Martin Luther King? Is it Rosa Parks? Literally, that's what it's gotten down to. Right. It's like, who's the best receiver on the Redskins? Martin Luther King? No, bro. It's Terry McLaurin. That's how often they say this dude's name. If I was Terry McLaurin, I would be like, look, y'all, stop saying my name on that damn ESPN 980 so I can get some rest.
Keep saying it so he can get some more money.
Oh, God. It's almost like he's overexposed, like a Kardashian or something. And literally,
I was gonna say, are they going to have enough money with Carson Wentz $28 million hit?
They're going to
Yeah.
have to read. They're going to.
Well, they don't got
They're
Sheriff
gonna
there.
read-
I mean, some of these people that just got up out of there. I mean, yeah, they took cap hits, but they also freed up some space. So
They freed up space, but I think the thing what we have to talk about, when we talk about some of these deals, when you're going to restructure somebody, is to each. It's just like any mathematics equation or something in physics. To each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody's got a $28 million cap hit, and I want to knock it down to 18. Well, what you can't do is make that guy not get the 28. He's going to get the 28 at some point, because the NFLPA is not going to let you say, hey, you gave a guy a contract for 28, but he only ended up with 18. It doesn't work that way. If you restructure that guy and spread him out, take the 28 and spread it out over 4 years, you're creating a cap hit. You are creating guaranteed money down the road that has to be paid. So, yes,
I got the cap tracker here.
Carson Wentz has no cap hit after this season, right?
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right. Yeah. It's
So the
just
next
this
2 years, he has no cap hit. If the Washington franchise restructures the $28 million he's getting this year, they will create cap hit for a guy that does not have a cap hit as currently, right?
They're dealing with 5.2 right now in cap. They're at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
But that's also not accounting for anybody that was dropped as of
Right.
today.
Or anyone that they do pick
as
up.
of now. As of next year, with without that Carson cap, they'll be at 50.8 currently. If
Correct.
did
They
it
can
today.
spend more. They can spend more next year, sure. So
Well,
And I don't know if you
think
guys
they-
heard, but I'm just seeing this and it reminded me. But the Colts are at 68 right now with their cap, so they got a hell of a lot of money to spend, and the most on anybody. And Houston just denied their phone call for Deshaun Watson talks.
It's no
Houston
way you're
is
gonna
stupid.
trade him. No, it's no way. I wouldn't
No,
trade
to
him
the
in the
AFC.
division either.
Yeah, I'm trading in the division.
I don't.
you're
I
not
wouldn't
going
even
to trade in the division. I
I
get
wouldn't
it.
even.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even trade him in the AFC. He has to go
he's
NFC.
Yeah,
going
well-
NFC.
I heard that the Browns offered 3 firsts, Baker Mayfield,
You got to be
Green
careful.
Skyline
with
Chili.
Twitter ones, though, man.
I mean,
Kareem Hunt.
They offered
No,
everything.
they can offer the daggone Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they
Jim Brown. They offered him Jim Brown. I mean, damn.
Autograph T-shirts.
They offered him Halle Berry. They offered
Yeah.
everything they got out of Cleveland. Steve Harvey,
We can't go so without getting Halle Berry mentioned.
Glenville High
Man.
School. I'm trying to get Halle Berry to trend so she will.
Amy,
Right.
She'll
Amy
speak to
Joy
me. You know what I'm
Donuts.
saying?
Amy
Listen.
Joy Donuts. They can
Every-
offer all that.
LeBron
Hey, man.
James rookie T-shirt. All that.
LeBron James. Yeah. You know what? Give them St. Vincent and St. Mary's High School and a gym. Give them that.
Hey, they
University
gym
of Akron. Shout out.
They gym is amazing, man. LeBron put
Isn't
some
it?
money in that gym, boy.
Hey, bruh. You know what I'm saying? It's like, with LeBron, that's like money in between the couches, in between the couch cushions, man. So
It's state of the art.
listen, guys, we can't go too much further. We're halfway
I
through
just
the
want
show.
to. I just want to
go ahead.
announce that I just signed a deal with Jacksonville Jaguars.
This-
There it
no
is.
doubt.
They gave Cody.
No
They gave
doubt.
Cody some money too. Hey,
Hey, I
listen,
want to be his agent.
They handed it out, man.
y'all saw my idea. Hey, look, on legal.
They actually
on-
did really just sign Zay Jones though, for 3 years, $30 million, $24 million base.
How about Zadarius Smith? Where's he going to end up? Could
I
you
haven't
see him
seen
in somewhere?
Man,
Yeah, could you see him
Jacksonville is-
somewhere like
Ravens.
Ravens? I think that's a good fit. I like that.
Wouldn't he be going back home?
That's another. They're trying to pay these receivers over in Jacksonville a lot of money, and I don't think Christian Kirk is worth that, and I don't think Zay Jones is worth 3 years, $30 million either.
No, I don't have a defense for him. I don't have a defense for him.
Jody said I can't do it.
I can't do him because
Hey.
he's still. Where your robbery mask at? Where your robbery mask at? Tony?
Yeah, right.
Because that's who's stealing. That's who's stealing money. He's on his third team. He's on
Yep.
his third team. He just stole money from Buffalo. He just stole
Stick
money
him
from
up.
Oakland, Vegas.
And he had
Now he
that
about to steal
crazy
money from
incident.
Jacksonville.
That crazy
Stick 'em
incident out there too in that hotel.
Yeah.
We need to start giving the Jesse James Award every week.
So
That's what we're gonna have.
are
Yes.
we going to?
Got two timers.
We're halfway through the show. The TD report. Our guy, Tony
I know
Kennedy, Mr. Hoagie, we have got to give you and your basketball team some love.
Hey,
for
no
your
doubt.
first
Yes, no doubt, no
ACC
doubt.
tournament championship, my brother.
It's about time.
Hey, look at all that money coming in. Look at all that money.
That was a
Tony,
fluke.
a
No, I'm
fluke.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, listen,
we
Tony,
got that ass,
Tony,
didn't we?
before Tony gives us his analysis, let me throw this in, and I'm sorry to take the mic on this one. What we just saw, this is the 2022 ACC tournament. The last ACC tournament in the last 10 years, how many do you think Duke has won?
Probably about six of them.
Two.
In
No,
10
I'm
years?
sorry. Duke has won in the last 10 years. Duke has won the ACC tournament 3 times.
3. Wow.
How many times has Carolina won it?
3.
One.
Twice.
Okay, twice.
UVA has won it twice.
Twice.
And when you say UVA has won it twice in the last 10 years, that's a bad sign for the ACC.
Who has the other
But
3?
here's what makes it worse. Florida State has won it once and should have won it twice. They had the COVID year where they were declared the tournament champions, but they didn't have a tournament. Georgia Tech has won the ACC tournament in the last 10 years. Virginia Tech just won it. Miami has won it in the last 10 years. This is an interesting trend that has virtually never happened to any other school, with the exception of when North Carolina State ran the league back in the 1960s and 70s. It used to be North Carolina and NC State. That was before Duke became good. The last 30 years, last 40 years, it's been Duke and North Carolina. Paul Adams, thank you for joining the show. Duke and UNC losing home court advantage. That's what happens when you take it out of North Carolina. Well, that's what coaches like Gary Williams, Lefty Driesell have been begging for almost 70 years. Okay. And now that it's finally happened, you don't have them damn Carolina refs and you're not playing in Greensboro. Okay. But I will say this, the only way for the league to grow, it's got to come out of Greensboro. You should only be playing the ACC tournament in Charlotte, DC, every now and then in New York, every now and then again in Atlanta. That's it. It should
Miami,
be
Boston,
it should not be in Greensboro. Yeah, it should be in the District of Columbia more because it's centrally located. It's centrally located. It makes sense. They've got a venue they can play it in. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
They care about TV. Wherever the NBA facilities are, up and down the coast that matches the ACC, that's where they will play it.
I like it. I've always liked that. And the guys, the brain trust in the room for the ACC, they've got to get that mentality out. Where in the old ACC, Tony, remember in the old days, Jody, you'll remember this, maybe even Cody. In the old days in the ACC, the North Carolina schools had 4 votes out of 8 teams. They had 4 votes. And Dean Smith could get the other 3 schools to vote any way he wanted to. That's when they started calling it the All Carolina League.
Carolina Conference. That's what the
All
ACC
Carolina Conference. Anytime a league decision was made, like when they went to the shot clock, UVA wanted the shot clock because they had Ralph Sampson. Dean Smith was like, no, we don't. And they didn't have one. So
that's where they came up with the 4 corners.
4 corners. That's the interesting way that North Carolina has been able to pull the strings of the league, kind of like The Godfather. They call it La Cosa Carolina. It's like a mob. They run their thing. The ACC now is a lot more of a wider open conference, right? You do have the schools that came over from the Big East, your Pittsburghs, your Virginia Techs, and so on and so forth. Your Syracuse. Those schools, and Boston College, those schools, hey, great. They bring a different flavor to the conference. They do bring in some TV revenue. They bring in some TV markets. Syracuse bringing in New York. Boston College bringing in, the Boston metro area.
Not to mention Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. No, you know what Notre Dame is? Notre Dame is that real fine chick. You get to see her every now and then, but you don't get to take her out to show your homies that you out with her, but you kick it with her. That's Notre Dame. Notre Dame has dipped a toe into the league
Mhm.
for their other sports, and they ain't going to give you all of their football. They're never going to do that.
No,
right?
no, absolutely
So
not.
that's what that's about. That's that real fine shorty that won't let you see her in the light of day. She real hot, so none of your
Well,
boys get to see her. That's what you got.
let me give y'all a little history. I don't think Carolina and Duke has ever lost on back-to-back nights by double digits in the ACC tournament. I'll be hard pressed to find that.
I can find out, but I will guarantee you this. I'll bet you $1 million nobody thought they'd be selling their session tickets to Hokies. You remember them first and second round tickets? You used to find you a Hokie. All right, man, give me your tickets. Come on. Y'all out.
Give me a ticket.
Y'all out. Come on. Come on. Not anymore, buddy. You know what I'm saying? And listen, congratulations. I think that's great. It's great for the league. People say, oh, this is bad for the league. No, it's not. It's great for the league. For the fact that Florida State, a football school, was able to come into the ACC and win an ACC championship, had a good shot at winning too. Miami, a football school, winning an ACC championship, right? Georgia Tech, think about this. Georgia Tech has not been great consistently since Bobby Cremins was there in the movies.
Well, that's a good point. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right.
And an
They
NFL
have not
update
been
just came
great.
through.
Yeah.
Well,
What's that? What you got?
No, it was just a good point. Someone was saying that Laviska Shenault could possibly be up for trade at this point with all the wide receivers are signing in Jacksonville. He just was drafted there last year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's
I would
pretty
say
nice,
this,
though. I
Tony.
like him.
He's real nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Let's talk about what's the next frontier for the Hokies. What's next?
Hey man, it's recruiting. But let
Love
me tell you something. If I were Maryland, I'd get Mike Jones and hire him as your head coach and stop that pipeline from coming down there from the DMV, from DeMath and the DMV coming down to Virginia Tech. Obviously, it's working in basketball.
Mike
We ain't
Jones
supposed
is
to win the
yeah.
ACC.
Yeah, Mike. If there are 5 better high school coaches in the country than Mike Jones, I want to see him. No, and I don't care about IMG. If you're the coach at IMG, I really don't give a flip how good a coach you think you are. You have the best players in the world. Your ass is supposed to be a local high school. I'm not impressed. Move along, right?
Yeah.
Oak Hill, that phenomenon, that's a little bit different. So what I've always called them, Jody, up here, I've called those schools like well there used to be back in the day. Y'all remember Flint Hill? That was what I call an inorganic school. Everybody that goes to school there, they ain't got no tuba player at that school. There ain't nobody to play the piccolo. Okay, they ain't got cheerleaders. They just got ball players.
Mhm.
That's it. Basketball. That's it. You got the guy the guy that's got the water boy has a scholarship to Oak Hill because he's trying to get a scholarship to be at a college and be the water boy in college. That's not a school to me. So, and don't get me wrong, I think Steve Smith at Oak Hill is an excellent coach, an excellent teacher. But you get these guys. What's the other one? What's the one out in Vegas? What's that school?
That's the one Snoop was at?
Yeah.
No, you talking about
the basketball school.
Oh man, I know you're talking about.
Well, they've got one in Indiana too.
Is it Mount Vernon? No, not
What's
Mount
that?
No, it's called I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
always
they've got a school like that out in Las Vegas, and I'm not talking about Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman is like a DeMatha. That's like a DeMatha type school. What type of schools you have up there, Jody? What is that? Bishop Sycamore?
We have
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
We don't really have too many prep schools up this way. Not yet.
Sycamore, Catfish U.
Catfish. Catfish.
They got destroyed, man. That wasn't nuts, man. That was man.
Okay. Like out here, we've got schools. We've got schools out here that are so good in one particular sport, right? And that's really kind of all they do, right? But then you've got the schools like the Good Counsels, the St. John's, the DeMathas of the world that'll have 5-6 different programs that are really, really good, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've got the schools that they only cater just to basketball players. Hey, Paul, Bishop Gorman, they would be an organic school. They are good in a couple of different sports. They've had a couple of actually. What's his name? Randall Cunningham's daughter went to Bishop Gorman, and she's one of the best high jumpers in the world. Vashti Cunningham. She had a shot at the Olympic team. The girl high jumps, and her older brother, he's a high jumper, I believe, as well. So they have athletes that do a little bit of everything at those Bishop Gormans and DeMathis of the world. But yeah, IMG Academy, they're recruiting all over the world for the best tennis players, soccer players, basketball, football. So if you're going to tell me that, okay, I've got 30 guys on my football team that have Division I offers, well, I'm supposed to be a good coach. I better win games.
Right.
I better blow teams out.
You better believe it.
I better blow teams out. So don't tell me that. Now, Mike Jones literally gets kids within 50 miles of his school. And he's virtually here in the DC metro area. He's been virtually unbeatable for what, Tony, 20 years?
20 years.
They must have won at least 17 Catholic League championships. Here in the DC area, the Catholic League, if DeMatha or Gonzaga doesn't win it, it's an off year. It's very rare that one of those two schools doesn't win it.
O'Connell and Paul are 6, and
every now and then, once in a blue moon, St. John's will win it, but it's very rare. It's almost always DeMatha or Gonzaga. They're very, very consistent. They put guys in college. Tony, conservative, how many guys right now does Mike Jones have in the pros? Maybe 10?
Probably 10.
Okay. How many do you think he has in college right now? He hasn't coached in college in 3 years.
No, he just finished.
2 years. 2 years.
No, he left this year, didn't he?
It's been 2 years because he left the COVID. He left. He didn't have COVID. Pete Strickland's been at DeMatha now 2 years.
He probably got about 50.
50. And he hasn't put a kid in school in 2 years. And he still has 50. That means he's got sophomores and juniors in college that were at DeMatha, right? That's incredible.
You got to think about 3 to 5 a year.
Easy.
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 So easily. Yeah,
Easy.
I'm those conservative numbers.
Yeah.
So
but
they're not all D1, but they all in school.
Yeah. So with about 15, 20 minutes left in the show, we got to talk about your boy Tom Brady.
I figured that was coming.
How can I say this nicely? F you, Tom Brady, for messing up March Madness, man. Messing up Selection Sunday, bruh. You could have let that wait. You could have waited.
The person I feel the worst for is the guy who 12 hours prior to Tom Brady saying he's coming back, who spent $550,000 on his last touchdown ball.
Oh my God!
I don't feel sorry for nobody who can spend $500,000.
Look, he's all out for nothing now. He got a regular old Duke ball.
Right.
I'm gonna use air quotes. I don't want to upset anybody. This is said tongue in cheek. But if I spent $518,000 on a Tom Brady football and he came back within hours, I would go home and kick my dog. I wouldn't.
I'm going to find Tom Brady's address.
I would kick my dog. I mean, literally. That's how mad I would be.
He's going to sign this football. He's going to give me a jersey sign. I'm going to need a bunch of shit.
At this point, just you know what? Get Giselle Bundchen
better make something
one of them underwear models. Then we be even.
I'm out $518,000.
Giselle got to hook me up with one of them Victoria's Secret models.
It was literally like 12 hours later. Your man bought it on Saturday, and then Sunday he said, "I ain't retiring."
That's
Tom
crazy.
Brady.
It depends on the state that he's in. It's false advertising, man. You can't.
Tom Brady is such a wimp. He couldn't even stand 40 days at home with his wife and kids.
I just feel
been there for however many years. He was
40 days.
He didn't make it 40 days and said, "I've had enough."
40 days and he tapped out.
Oh,
go ahead.
I feel so sad for him. He got to stay with that beautiful woman all day. I feel so bad for him.
I can guarantee you
he'd stay in the league until those kids graduated if he could.
I guarantee you, Giselle Bundchen is probably no fun to live with. I'm serious. She probably don't even walk around the house in her panties no more. What fun is that?
Oh man.
How you gonna
I
marry a
don't.
Victoria's Secret model and never see her in her underwear?
I think
What's the
he was
point?
selfish. He could have come out on Friday or Saturday. To do that in the middle of Selection Sunday was
That ain't
Bush
right.
League.
Why
He
you do
probably
that to
did
them
not
kids?
even
Why you
he
do that
probably
to them
did not
kids?
even think about Selection Sunday.
Yes,
That's
he
the
did.
problem. He should have
It
thought
was
about
not
that.
even I didn't even know that it was Selection Sunday, so I
Yeah,
can't be mad at him.
he knew it was
Oh,
Selection Sunday, dude.
come on,
His
Cody.
Michigan team made it. He
That's a
knew it was
different
Selection
language to
Sunday.
me, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
if you're a sports person and he's a big Michigan fan, he knew it was Selection Sunday.
Yeah,
It
and
was
Michigan
big.
made it. Michigan made it in.
I'm an NFL guy to the day I die, but I no idea about college
Yeah, well,
Well,
yeah,
days
that
and selection days and
well,
Selection Sunday is a huge day.
we need
Yeah.
to talk about the tournament real quick. We can do an extra show since I was out today, most of it. We can do an extra show where we can do our brackets.
Okay.
But I got to ask a couple of questions about the tournament. Possible matchup between Izzo and Coach K in round 2. Duke and Michigan State once again are in the same bracket.
They did
They're in
that
the
on
same
purpose.
sub-regional. But Michigan State's going to have to get past Davidson first. Davidson looks pretty good this year.
They tough.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But they did that on purpose, man, because they wanted those two to play each other.
Now,
To play each other.
I had heard a rumor that they're going to get Jim Nantz to call the Izzo Coach K game if it happens. If Jim Nantz is going to call it, then that means they're going to have Grant Hill in there as color doing the analysis, because that's the Final Four team. That's their number one team, right? Grant Hill pushed Clark Kellogg off the Final Four broadcast back into the studio. So if they're going to put Nance on there and they don't put Coach K in, they don't put Grant Hill in there to call the Final Four and call that game potentially Coach K's last game, potentially as a coach, I would say Grant Hill would have to be there for that, wouldn't you?
I don't think Michigan State gonna get past Davidson. I'm from the Midwest. I'm Big Ten, and Michigan State has not looked good at all this season.
Shaky, very shaky.
I don't think Coach K is retiring or leaving either.
Oh no, he's retiring.
He's gone.
He's done.
He's gone.
He's done.
He gonna pull a Brady.
No, his contract is up.
He's done. He's done. If you're Coach K, and this is part of why Roy Williams left. If you're Coach K, do you want to deal with an images and likenesses, NCAA, when you've been used to basically having your way with whatever kids you wanted and they weren't getting any money? You see what I'm saying? And a transfer portal is going to make it very, very difficult for John Shire to negotiate that landscape. Okay. This is a very difficult and different NCAA than the John Thompsons, John Cheneys, and Bob Knights, young Coach K, Dean Smith were dealing with. This is a brave new world. And what we're
Different
seeing
world.
is what I alluded to earlier with the shift in the ACC championship going away a little bit from North Carolina and Duke to where schools like Virginia can inch in there and pick up 2 ACC championships. And when UVA's been in the ACC since 1953, they've only won the ACC tournament 3 times. Okay, that's it. Carolina has won it something like what? How many times has Carolina won the ACC?
Something like 30.
And Duke is probably one. Well, I think that Duke might have them on ACCs. I think Carolina might have 29. No?
Carolina got the most.
And then Duke would have the second most at like 29. After that, NC State has 10. 10. Haven't won. NC State hasn't won the ACC tournament since 83?
Wow.
Has it been that?
87.
87? That's a long time, Tony. That's a generation. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
So
a long time.
If you are a UVA or Florida State and you're trying to make inroads to the ACC, you're going to have to nibble around the edges. So what we'll do is we're going to watch the next 10 years of the ACC. If you look at the next 10 years of the ACC and a school other than Duke or North Carolina has won the ACC more than those 2 schools, then those 2 schools in North Carolina got to worry. They got to start worrying. But not yet.
But let me ask you this, though, real quick. I understand that, the ACC tournament is very, very, pivotal. But why does it matter when you go win a national championship like UAV did?
Well, UVA won a national championship, but when you're looking up at Duke and North Carolina, who've won it multiple times, God, what's Carolina at now, Tony? Seven nationals. Duke is at like 6, something like that. Duke is at 5. If you're UVA and it took you 73 years to win one, how many years do you think it's going to take you to win 2 or 3 more?
I think with Tony Bennett down there, Tony Bennett is recruiting very well. He getting people that fit his personality, gritty defensive players, and he getting guys in the pros. I can see UAV really making a run in ACC.
It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very hard. You have to also look at this. Gonzaga and Villanova have both sprouted up to where Gonzaga should win a national title this year. They're a number 1 seed. They should win the national title this year. To me, they're the odds-on favorite, although I would take the field against Gonzaga. Okay? The question isn't if Gonzaga is going to win a national championship. The question is when.
Can they beat Arizona?
They will beat Arizona. They beat Arizona.
I don't know.
They're going to go up again. Well, don't forget, Baylor is a number 1 seed again. Okay? Your number 1 seeds this year, Arizona, Baylor, Gonzaga, and Kansas. The issue for me is Kansas seems to be stuck. Bill Self can't get that second national title. He's had many, many chances and many great teams over the years. Can't quite get back over the hump again.
You know who Kansas is? They the Aaron Rodgers of the college basketball.
That's cold. That's cold. So does that make does that make Gonzaga the Kirk Cousins? Does that make Gonzaga the Kirk Cousins?
No. The Kirk Cousins of that would probably be. Actually, it would probably be somebody like that's always pretty good, but they don't get you anything.
Pitt.
Wow.
I can't say. You know what? Kentucky.
The Dak Prescotts.
Oh, yeah. Dak Prescott, man. Listen, his agent is a genius.
Amari said it best.
Jared, that's messed up, man.
Hey, y'all can talk what y'all want to say about Dak. Dak just started getting paid. Kirk been getting paid since Obama was in office. Kirk been getting paid for 3 presidents.
Honestly, I still do not see how Kirk Cousins did this. It was like his agent knew something.
Well, he knew Kevin O'Connell liked it.
But Cody, it's like his agent unlocked how NFL teams have a fundamental misunderstanding of how to handle that franchise tag and how to utilize it. You see what I mean? Once you get to one point with a quarterback, once you get to a certain point with a quarterback and I can't get past this point, what do? Do I franchise him and kick it down the road and try to get a long-term deal set up for him that I'm not going to be happy with anyway? Once I give him this money, I'm going to be like, damn, I shouldn't have given him all this money. I should have got rid of him.
He's very religious. And so he can read, I think it's in Revelations. He said he comes like a thief in the night. That's Kirk Cousins.
Hey, yo.
That's him.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. So is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is very religious.
Hold on.
When they come together.
We're at 2 or 3.
He got to get that shit tatted.
But hold on. But when you look at Kirk Cousins, when you look at Kirk Cousins and you down in the fourth quarter, you think y'all can win a game with him?
I think I would say this. Kirk Cousins needs to be down if you're down 14 points and you've got 9 minutes left, I think Kirk Cousins can get you a W a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
But he's got to be able to, you've got to be well behind. You got to throw it.
4 minute drill?
Yes. But if you need Kirk Cousins to get you 3 first downs to win a game and salt it away, he can't do it.
So 2 minute drills out the question.
You see what I'm saying? If you need, in that way, he's kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo. You're saying to yourself, hey, I've got a 4-point lead. I've got the football. And then you call for a throw. That's where you messed up. He's throwing a pick.
But this is the thing.
Okay.
I watched Minnesota play Cleveland this year. And when you lose to Baker Mayfield and you had the ball at the end of the game, and Baker Mayfield was missing Odell Beckham all over the place, and you lose that game, and at the end of the season, you still get $35 million guarantee, I should have never stopped playing football. I should have never stopped playing.
Listen,
Oh,
you're right. You're right. It's a puzzler. It doesn't make sense to me. Look, you realize, is Blake Bortles even in the league anymore?
He was a
Yeah, he's a backup for
Tampa.
no, not Tampa.
Vegas.
No, that's what Marcus Mariota. He may not be in the league anymore. I know he came.
Nah,
He
I
may
think
not be in the
is.
league anymore.
I think he is. Somebody signed him recently.
So Blake Bortles.
Saints.
Okay, Blake
Yeah, he's with the
Bortles.
Saints.
Oh my God, Blake Bortles has started an AFC Championship game, and his team was winning with 5 minutes left over the Patriots.
But see, I mean, my thing is this: when you look at Kirk, like, yeah, that happens. But then you also got games where he beats Green Bay 34-31. You know,
34,
and
yeah,
make good plays. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he's got games where he does show up, but then he's got games where he's just completely absent.
I
Oh,
know
okay.
one thing. He shows up every day on Tuesday for that check.
Yeah, damn right.
Hold on, well, Cody. Let me can I ask you a question, Cody.
Yeah. What's
Okay,
up?
so Minnesota was in the NFC Championship game with Case Keenum,
Yep.
Mhm.
and they go make a deal for Kirk Cousins and got worse.
Mhm.
That's all we need
Yeah,
to talk
they
about.
did.
That's all we need to
Yeah.
talk about right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. That was the dead cat.
He
That was
is
the dead cat
he is
bounce.
a perennial middle of the pack quarterback.
I'll tell you what. As soon
And until
as they,
it is, I was gonna say, Dave, sorry, but as soon as they get a defense that's a top 3 defense with a quarterback
They
like
can't.
him, they're not gonna do anything.
How they gonna pay?
I
for
know they can't. I know they can't. I'm just saying, with a quarterback
It's-
like that, you'll never get to that next step unless you've got a defense to back it up.
it?
did you notice as soon as Cousins got there, Diggs started acting out. He said, I got to get him out of here. He said, I got to go.
I don't know. He has some pretty big years with Kirk, though.
He had some big
Hey,
years, but at the end, he was like,
He wasn't even getting 1,000 yards with Kirk Cousins though.
Yeah.
Last
yeah.
year, his last year he didn't get 1,000.
That was because he was forcing
had-
his way out.
He had 1,100 yards his
Not
first
his
year in
last year.
Minnesota. Not his last year, no.
Hey, fellas, we all came from humble backgrounds. When you
No, yeah, his
ain't
last
got
year he
no
did.
money,
His last year in Minnesota, he had 1,100 yards with them, and then the year prior to that, he had 1,021.
So he had
hey, Cody,
1,000
when
before?
you really ain't got no
Back-to-back
money, go up in
1,000-yard
that
seasons.
back room.
Okay.
Go up in there and go get you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and that's going to make you. That's going to kill the hunger pain a little bit. But after a couple of hours, you're going to be hungry at midnight. And that's what Kirk Cousins is. He's going to leave your ass hungry at midnight.
What Kirk Cousins did is, instead of going to that PBJ, your man bought the whole damn restaurant.
Right.
said, I'm eating pork chops and they smothered. How about
Yeah.
that? I ain't eat no hot dogs.
Hey, listen, dog. When you say he's made more money than Michael Jordan playing basketball, don't ever mention Kirk Cousins to me.
Oh, nah, don't get me wrong over here. Down here on this bottom right of the screen, bottom left of the screen, I'm not saying that he's worth that money in the least
No, he ain't
bit.
worth that money.
Not at all.
59,
Guess what?
59, and 2.
And Kirk
Not at
knows
all.
it.
That's to
No,
me.
the
That's
best
the
part is
equivalent.
Kirk
That's the
knows it.
equivalent. That's the equivalent of that fucking Christian Kirk deal over in Jacksonville.
I don't know about that.
Listen,
It's not deserving. It is not
if you're
deserving.
Christian, but I would say this: if you're Christian Kirk, you've got to take that money. You will never get another shot at basically what amounts to $100 stinking million.
He's
got it.
trying to hurry up and get to Wednesday so he can sign his deal.
I'm
Because
telling
all
y'all.
this other shit is bullshit.
I think y'all wrong on Christian Kirk. He's gonna actually be a number one, and I mean they don't have to spread the ball. You got to think in Arizona, he had 3 different guys that had significant amount of more targets than him.
They gave somebody else $30 million.
I don't think Zay Jones. Now he is. Could you put the Jesse James up again for me? Please?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
this.
come on, so.
Thank you.
30 million for that guy.
Come on, man. Now he didn't do a doggone thing anywhere. But Christian Kirk,
A G-
you got to think
GM.
they
He
They
hasn't
had-
either though.
But you got to think he had Larry Fitzgerald, he had DeAndre Hopkins. Zach Ertz had 91 catches, man. I didn't even realize
Good
that.
God.
So
So-
the ball was getting spread around. He did have 77 catches, 982 yards.
Oh yeah! Shout out
Man,
to
that's
Chase Edmonds.
that's his best year yet.
Yeah.
Chase Edmonds got some money today from Miami.
And
Shout
that
out
was
to
his
your
best
boy.
year. That was his best year yet with having other people on the field that draw more attention. So now him as a
Hey,
number one.
Hey guys,
We're going to see.
you guys are talking.
Yeah, we gonna
about all
see.
that stuff.
We're going to see. Definitely.
The team who won the day was my LA Chargers. They are the
J.C.
ones
Jackson
who
was a
are
great signing.
on. They have it on all 3 levels now,
I was to get him, but we didn't have money for it.
and they probably got the best young quarterback, and they got a good running game. The Chargers are going to be a problem.
You know
with the
why?
Broncos. I think KC going to step back.
You know why I agree with that Chargers
Oakland
look
won't step back.
big time, TK? Big time is because they filled, out of everyone else today, they filled every hole that they hurt on last year. Every
All 3
position
levels.
that hurt them last year is what they targeted today.
But guess
And
what they
that's
didn't
huge.
fix? Guess what they didn't fix? Their coach that playing Madden. Talking about going for
You don't
4th
like
and
Char-
4. Man,
I
listen,
like the
4th and
Chargers
4
coach.
No, man. 4th and 4.
I like
y'all.
that guy a lot.
He the one blew the playoffs because he called a timeout when they was gonna take the tie. No, man.
I
He
can
blew to-
name you tons of coaches that have made a bad call in their
And
life.
exactly,
I'm a big
and they
fan
don't-
of Staley.
and they don't
I'm
need
a
to be
big fan of
coaches either.
Staley. Nah, I'm a big fan of Staley. That dude,
Fourth-
he's
Hold
got.
on. Cody, 4th and 4 in your own territory, man. That's not good football.
I'm not saying it's a smart move, but he explained it well.
So he playing Madden out there?
He playing
He
Madden.
playing
should've-
Madden, Tony. He tripping.
He playing Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, he tripping.
I'd be willing to put a lot of money that dude is going to be a damn good winning coach in this league.
We'll
Better-
see.
He better fix that.
Talent now.
He better fix that.
Hey guys,
Talent in the world.
we got to
Right.
get out of here, but we need to look at doing the show on Thursday night and do brackets.
I'm
That's the
ready.
tournament.
Oh. Aren't you baseball Thursday?
Do I have a game on Thursday? I thought I had a game on Friday. Well, we'll figure it out, everybody.
Yeah,
Wait,
we'll take a
wait,
look.
wait,
look.
we got to figure it out because Thursday night is NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Let me
I ain't
see.
messing with y'all, dude.
I don't have.
What
the
about
tournament.
Wednesday night?
I could do Wednesday night. Let's do that.
Let's do Wednesday
All
night.
right.
Wednesday night, bracket
No,
night.
let's get something tight. I have sheets of integrity. When you pick your final
You
four,
only
like
get
I
one
picked
sheet.
The Super Bowl. you
One
get
sheet.
One sheet.
One sheet.
And I won the whole thing for football because I told these dudes that the LA teams were going to Super Bowl. So I'm gonna pick that Final Four. And
You
I
only
tell
got
what
one
it is.
LA team though.
I'm gonna pick the champion again. One for one. I pick the champion.
And make sure, TK, if you're going to do that, make sure you submit it on ESPN because there's only been like one person in the history of the fucking championship ever who's ever done it. If that.
Ain't nobody getting all the games.
Nobody's getting all.
Nobody's ever done that. No.
Well,
That
I
would
think
be
there was
the
somebody last year that was like one team off or something like that. But you get
Yeah.
way more than
You
I'm
ain't
gonna
never
make a
get-
prediction.
I think it's
I'm
like
gonna make a
10 million.
prediction.
Wow.
A 15 seed is going to take out a 2 in this tournament.
What's the other 16 taking a 1? That's probably going to happen
No,
again too.
no,
Nah,
UVA.
I don't think that.
No, UVA going to have to live with that one. They stuck with that one.
I got a bold prediction. I think in the Final Four, it's going to be a team that's over a 6 seed. It's going to get to the Final Four.
I think that's only happened like 3 times.
It's going
Yeah.
to be one team that's going to get in. It's going to be over a 6 seed.
The Hokies.
The
I don't know.
Hokies.
I don't think it's them, but I got a feeling because everybody is becoming very, very equal. Like there's a lot of parity in college basketball, and I can see a 6 seed or higher getting into the Final Four.
What are you talking about?
Virginia
Virginia
Tech-
Tech college basketball.
Virginia Tech going to be one of the first teams. Virginia Tech going to be one of the first teams
Except for
during the
baseball.
song, one shining moment. That means they went out early. They're going to be of like the first 15 seconds. The ball is tipped. They're going to show one Hokie highlight. That's going to be it.
All right. Well, it was a good show, fellas. Let's go ahead and sign off.
Great
here.
show, guys. Thank you, Jody.
Hey, I'm
Appreciate
back.
you. See y'all on Wednesday night.
See y'all Wednesday.
Thanks for watching the TD Report.
ACC champions, Virginia Tech Hokies 2022. Hey, we ain't mad at you, Tony.
Make sure that you all subscribe,
Please
and
like and
share this
subscribe.
post,
Thank you.
please. Please like and subscribe and share.
Hey,
The three.
Cody, make sure you let them know next month we're gonna be in Vegas. Cody gonna be in Miami. Dave gonna be in DC. Me and Jody gonna be out in Vegas
We're gonna be in Vegas.
with Elvis. We're gonna be out there with Elvis, baby.
Awesome.
Hey.
We're coming.
Hey, Cody, I'm gonna get with you too, man. I got some new picks since all the free agents done went. I'm gonna resub
Yep,
for the
same.
draft because you know.
Same.
So we get
Yeah,
together.
we'll get on that a couple shows from now. So
Okay,
when we
yep,
get closer
that'll work.
to the draft. Yeah.
Bet.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas.
Appreciate y'all.
Take care,
Hey,
y'all.
Peace.